What's up, guys? End of day 6, 7 and 8. I did not do videos of day 6 and 7 since we were backtracking till certain points and fixed some design areas on my behalf. I don't believe you guys wanted to see videos of me looking at the engine bay, staring at it for hours at a time, not knowing which way to go next. But at least that's all sorted. And today, day 8, we made some good progress, as you will see in the following videos. But anyway, please go and subscribe to our channel, go and like our Facebook pages, and also remember the Larray Racing Developments are also on Instagram. Let's get on to the build. Sometimes it's the smaller things that just takes a lot of time to do, and because we are going to run these rose joints on the control arms, we have to make quite a few things to make them work. For instance, these little spaces that we've made out of stainless steel to get a correct offset on the tie rod or on the rose joint to fit snugly into the positions. Each controller will use 2 of these, so in total we will need 8 of these bushes made. I'm not a professional machinist or anything. It takes me roughly around about 10 minutes to make one of these, just to give some time on what we do. Then what we do is we take obviously proper nuts and we machine them down so they can fit into the tubing, and then we weld around them. This also takes a bit of time. Then Chandra went ahead and made for us some nice brackets. This is for the rear mounting point on the control arms. This gets mounted under the car like such, and with one of these little links going into it. The one is re-tagged onto the car. This is one we kept out. Then on the control arms, obviously we start off with a bunch of tube steel. This is 25mm. For the most of them we use 2.5mm wall thickness with a very nice bend, not a crash bend, so it keeps some of the strength. We've started up the CNC and contoured 2 of these plates out for the ball joints of the Golf 7R, and then your pipe will basically go into it like so. This is just to illustrate that. Then we've also finished these aluminium bearing carriers that goes into the 7R carriers. We finished 2 of them with a 5mm offset to help clear the ball joint, and we actually sorted. So the ball joints are clear of the discs. Only thing on the brakes that needs to happen is we need to make the brackets for the 4-pot Brembo calipers to go to the onto the carriers. I've already drawn them up. I've halfway through the tool paths. But today we were pushing on some metal fabrication so Chandra can carry on with those. So for my bearing holders, we take a 140mm billet aluminium round bar, and it's 54mm thick, and we put it through stage 1, and then we flip it around for stage 2. The whole process is about 15 minutes from a block like that to a finished product like this. Anything left to do is to tap these 3 holes for the bolts. Right, on the control arms, we've got 1 done. It's about, we measured and measured and measured countless times to get these angles correct. For on this control arm, we've got obviously 5mm mild steel plate that we contoured that I showed in the previous video. We've got 2.5mm tube on that beam and this beam, and then a little bit thinner wall on the cross beams. One rose joint will go here. The other one will go in from the side. This arm looks extremely tiny without the rose joints on there. It almost looks wrong, but it actually works out perfectly. And yeah, tomorrow we've already made up a jig, so tomorrow we can just copy whatever we did on this one on there, and we can have two of exactly the same arms made to perfection. Most important thing for us is safety, to make sure these things are strong, safe, and won't break and won't collapse. So we will, after this, draw them up as well and do a CAD rendering to make sure that they are strong. So we finally got a final position for the upper shock towers. We had to move it another 20 millimeters down, and we gave it some proper angles to match the shock angles. And from here on, we're going to do proper welds on them and also do some extra reinforcements. And as a special thing today, I think Mr. Chris Wall is here.
What's up?
He's came to say hi and support us as always. And best photographer, motor photographer in the business I know of.
This is next level. I mean, it's cool when you see Vickers at the track and he tells you what he's done and you're like, yeah, that sounds cool. But seeing the actual work happen in progress and the amount of work that's gone in, this is ridiculous, man. This is next level stuff. This is what international people aspire to.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, no, guys, at the end of the day, is the amount of work just to get the two shock towers to where we want them or what we think is perfection. And I'm no automotive engineer by any sort. A lot of YouTube videos, a lot of reading up, and there's a lot of time. The upper two shock towers, getting the levels right, just measurements is about 3 hours of cross-checking and making sure we're at the right place. So yeah. So the biggest problems was in the engine bay, chassis mounting points, upper and lower control arms. But finally, Chandra started to do some nice welds onto the upper plates. We have them in an ideal position. We've got the angles according to the shock perfectly, and we also moved it down 60 millimeters from the top to the bottom. We've removed this plate here. It was a very flimsy little plate that was in there. We are going to put in a 2 millimeter plate and then double weld it in. The camber plates, we've given a lot of adjustment. Believe it or not, this is our -1 degree, and looks like we're going to get up to -4.5 degrees on the current measurements. Wheel is in place. Shock looks tiny, looks almost lost in there. Obviously the low control arm is out, so the wheel is sagging in. So from tomorrow onwards we'll start adding stuff in so we can get measurements for the drive shaft. Guys, go and hit the subscribe button, get the likes up. Let's see if we can get this channel higher up in the rankings, and share it to your friends. This is all made proudly South African, and I'm not an engineer by any means. I'm not a fully qualified machinist, but I've taught myself over the years on YouTube to do a lot of things, a lot of research in books and on the internet of suspension angles, and let's see what we can get. Maybe we can get this car in the top ranks. Go and hit the subscribe button, please, guys. Have a lekker one.